Assalamualaikum and hi. Today we will be presenting a title of manufacturing process and technology to fabricate Legos. Before we start our session, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Aliyah Maisarah binti Nordin.
My name is Imajistina binti Abdul Razak.
My name is Nur Amalia binti Zahid.
And my name is Nuharina binti Adnan.
Throughout this presentation, you will be informed about the most suitable manufacturing process and technology used to fabricate Legos. Our next presenter will explain a bit about Legos.
So before we go further, I will share some history of Lego. I got it from Lego Group. It states that Lego were first made of wooden blocks and the plastic Legos were first made in 1960s. From then, Lego has been a very attractive toy for children as well as adults. It encourages and inspires everybody to imagine and create to assemble the Lego blocks. So Lego is manufactured using injection molding. What is injection molding? The main idea of injection molding involves a process in which plastic pellets are fed into the plasticizing unit of the injection molding machine, where it is melted, after which it passes through the cylinder with single screw extruder and into the mold to form a product. I will pass the next slide to Alia Maisara.
How Legos are made. It is from injection molding. The flow process is step 1. The mold closes. As the mold closes, the injection molding cycle timer will begin. The next step will be injection. The plastic is heated and injected to the mold. The displaced air escapes through the vents in the injection pins along the parting line as the melted plastics enters the mold. Step 3. Cooling. The part will be allowed to cool for an exact amount of time needed to harden the material after the mold is filled. The type of resin used and the thickness of the part affects the cooling time needed. To maintain constant temperature, each mold is designed with internal cooling or healing lines where water is cycled through the mold. Step 4. Plasticizing the resin. While waiting the parts to cool down, the barrel screw will retract and draws new plastic resins into the barrel from the material hopper. The heater bands maintain the needed barrel temperature for the type of resin being used. The last step, which is ejection. The mold opens when the movable platen moves to the right, and ejector rod moves to the ejector pins forward. The parts then falls in a bin located below the mold. So there you have it, the injection molding process of Legos. The next slide, I will hand it over to Nur Khairina.
Thank you, Arima Sarah. So right now I will explain about control parameters. And for the temperature, inside the molding machine, the granules are superheated to a temperature of about 450 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 230 degrees Celsius. This melted plastic glue is fed into molds, which is little metal containers that shape like hollow Lego bricks. So as we can see, when Alia explained earlier about the process, they are running water which is used as a coolant for the process. So the cooling time takes about 10 to 15 seconds to cool and eject the Lego from the molding machine. And For the speed, we can say that about 2.16 million Lego elements are molded every hour, or 36,000 per minute. The Lego manufacturing process is so precise that only 18 out of 1 million Lego bricks produced is considered defective. So the injection velocity is about 200 to 240 millimeter per second. And for the pressure, the injection pressure is between 25 to 250 tons of pressure that applied on the molding machine during the process, which is 4.14 to 1.30 megapascal. And the holding pressure has about 14 kilos, and each can hold 33 tons of ABS granules. And the precision tolerance is 0.002 millimeters, which related to the applied pressure during the injection process. This is done to snap together all of the complex pieces using the machine. So I will pass the next slide to Iman Christina to explain about the safety.
So the safety procedures, there are lots of safety procedures, but here's some of it. So first, check if the emergency button is pressed or the safety door is open during the operation. Second, the molten rubber leaking from the nozzle should not be removed by hand to prevent the handle from being sandwiched between the shooting table and the mold when the shooting table is moved forward. Third, avoid leaving heat-sensitive and corrosive plastics in the barrel for too long. But observe the shutdown and cleaning methods provided by the plastic supplier. And we need to make sure that the mixing of new and old plastics doesn't produce chemical reactions when replacing the plastics. Otherwise, other plastics must be used to remove the old materials in the barrel. Fourth, before operating the injection molding machine, it must be checked whether the mold is firmly installed on the movable platen and the head plate of the injection molding machine. Fifth, pay attention to whether the ground wire and other wiring of the injection molding machine are connected securely, and do not cancel the safety door or safety door switch in order to increase the production speed. Last, in the normal injection molding process, it is strictly forbidden for the operator to open the safety door without removing the safety door from above or below the injection molding machine. And then the oil pump motor of the injection molding machine should be turned off in time when we are servicing the mold or temporarily not producing it. Okay, next, I'll pass to Amalia.
Okay, next is advantages and disadvantages of injection molding process. First advantages is low labor cost, which is plastic injection molding is an automated process where a majority of the process is performed by machine and robotics, which a sole operator can control and manage. Automation helps to reduce manufacturing costs as the overheads are significantly reduced. Second is design flexibility. The molds themselves are subjected to extremely high pressure. As a result, the plastic within the molds is pressed harder and allows for a large amount of detail to be imprinted onto the part and for complex or intricate shapes to be manufactured. Third advantages is fast production and highly efficient. Injection molded can produce an incredible amount of parts per hour. Speed depends on the complexity and size of the mold, anywhere between 15 to 120 seconds per cycle time. And last advantages is have a large material choice. There is a large selection of polymer resins to choose from. Multiple plastic materials can also be used simultaneously. For example, TPE can be overmolded onto PP parts. Okay, for disadvantages, and first, it is high tooling costs and long setup lead times, because upfront costs are high due to the design, testing, and tooling required. This process also have a long setup lead times because a lot of stages need to make before finally can done the injection mold apart. Next part, design restriction. Because when doing injection molding, a lot of consideration and basic steps must follow before starting the process. For example, like avoid undercuts and sharp edges, must use uniform wall thickness to prevent inconsistencies in the cooling process, and lastly, make a draft angles. Okay, last disadvantages is small runs or part can be costly. It is due to complexity of tooling and the necessity to rid the machine of all previous material before the next product can be made. The setup time can be quite long. Therefore, small runs of parts have traditionally always been thought that it is too expensive for injection molding. Next slide. Okay, for defects, first is vacuum voids, which vacuum voids or air pockets, which we can call it air bubbles, appear in a finished molded component. Second defect is sink marks. It is a small recesses or depressions in an otherwise flat and consistent surface of a molded part. This defect occurs when the inner part of the molded component shrinks and pulls the material from the outside inward. Last defect is warping. It is a deformation that occurs when injection molded products when different parts of a component shrink unevenly.
Okay, so on behalf of my members, what I can conclude from all of what we presented just now, injection molding is considered as the most important process in the production of plastic items, which it is involving intricate shapes and vast production of identical items, and it is also has many applications for manufacturing, particularly for producing a high volume part. While the tooling and molding can be expensive, but the cost of production once it is completed is low. So that's it. And thank you.
Thank you.